How's it going, super friends? Welcome back to my channel. Check it out, I managed to get my hands on the New York Comic Con exclusive NECA Green Lantern vs. Predator 2-pack. We're gonna have a look at it together. It's something that I've been really excited about, and I just can't wait to get these guys out of the package. As a side note, it is kind of funny that we have the opportunity right now to review a Green Lantern vs. Predator 2-pack, because there never was a Green Lantern Predator DC Dark Horse crossover. That trophy actually belongs to Green Lantern vs. Aliens. It went 4 issues, however there never was Green Lantern vs. Predator. The closest we got to that was a few panels in Sinestro War, Green Lantern issue 24. If you look really closely, right down there, yep, there he is. And then also in another issue further in the series, where, look at that, he's taking a blast of sheer willpower. He probably did. Anyhow, on with the review. Here's the front of the box, which is all black like the rest of the box, except for the Green Lantern and the Predator logos right there up front. Opening up that front window, you get a clear view of everything that you get on the inside of the box, and certainly the design features and the layout is very attractive. Now, I want to get these guys out. Right, so let's just pop these guys out and have a closer look. Wow, there really is a whole lot in this bubble. Just, okay, give me a couple more seconds to get it all out. In brightest day, in blackest night, no evil shall escape my sight. Let those who worship evil's might beware my power. Green Lantern's light. And out they come. Hal Jordan Green Lantern and the Sinestro Corp Predator. And boy, oh boy, are there a lot of things that come in this package. For one, you get Hal Jordan. Oh wait, I've been told my hands are in the video too much. Here, I'm using a pointer. Is that better? Hal Jordan, his lantern, you get a burst from the ring, you get a twinkle from the ring, you get a little energy thingamajig from the ring, you get the John Stewart head, and you get 2 extra hands. And on the Predator side, you got the Predator, an extra head, 2 extra hands, his spear, his sword, and this, whatever that is. Let's start by looking at Hal Jordan and everything that he comes with first. Accessories! Let's start with the lantern. This little guy right here is actually a pretty good rendition of what the Green Lantern's power battery should look like. The sculpt of the lantern looks pretty comic accurate as far as I'm concerned. You got a nice dark green with a light green on the inside, and then you have white right in the center hole, and the handle is a darker green as well. So it's actually got 4 colors. Now, even though I am singing the praises of this lantern, there is one thing about it that kinda stinks, and that's the fact that the handle for this little guy is made out of such a soft, bendy rubber that you can't get it to go straight properly without it just wanting to slowly bend back into where it was when it was mashed into the package. That kind of stinks. It would be nice if this actually rotated, but I think, all in all, this is a fairly good and accurate representation of Green Lantern's power battery. Next, we'll look at John's head. And this is the face of a man who has seen some Seriously, look at that gnarled, haggled face. Looks like he has been in some serious battles on Earth and in outer space. The texture that they've gone with for the bottom where the hair's shaven and then the top of the head all around, they've really paid close attention to the detail. Every nook and every cranny. Not really sure what's going on with that there 5 o'clock shadow. In some places it didn't really end up where it's supposed to by the looks of it to me. And I'm not 100% sure that this head sculpt gives me that John Stewart feel, but I think overall it's a pretty good job. And then we have those green power energy accessories. For one, you got that blast that's coming out of his power ring right there. Pretty simple accessory, looks good for what it is. You got this here burst of light twinkling out the end of his ring here, and I'll put it on the fist in a second. And then we have this. By the looks of it, it's the beginning of a power blast that's coming out of his ring. Here, let's try them on his fist. Which, by the way, he comes with 2 extras of. The one, obviously, is for holding onto the lantern, which I would say be very, very, very careful installing. Oh my god, it's so stretchy. Just be very careful installing the lantern. But you can see the little hole in the end of the ring, and that's for sticking in this one, and this one. It's the pew pew, and it's blurry. Oh sure, focus on the stars. And then of course we have, whoa! And then of course we have the part that all of us who are DC fans bought this package for. The Hal Jordan, the Green Lantern of Earth Sector 2814. Or John Stewart, Green Lantern of 2814, depending on which one you like better. What a fan-diddly-tastic looking figure. Absolutely. Gosh, I like this guy. Mine does have some imperfections, as almost everything does these days. But let's take a slow look from his toes to his head and take everything in. Now, even though this is just NECA's DC naked buck with absolutely no sculpted detail on it that's new, aside from that of the ring, this is, in my opinion, a fantastic Hal Jordan. I mean, he does just wear a bodysuit or a ring-generated bodysuit, depending on what era of Green Lantern comics you're reading, so there is no new detail needed. For the most part, those paint apps look pretty good. You got some light green with some darker green shading all around and in the muscles, which looks good. Look, oh my god, I forget what these muscles right here are called, but look at them. They're huge. You could crush beer cans with those things. Some areas where my figure actually does have a few little tiny weensy problems. Well, looking up close at the emblem on his chest, even though it's been painted neat and the lines are nice and sharp, mine is just ever so slightly off to one side. Well, rotated a little bit off to one side. And then my only other problem is with the face, so let's look at that close up too. Hal's face, for the most part, looks actually pretty good. The skin tone looks good, the green looks nice, I got some black shading around the eyes, two tones in the hair, so I mean, it looks good. Everything is sculpted really nice, and for the most part, painted nice. The only place where I run into problems with mine is that the flesh tone on mine, you can see in the lower part of his face, looks just a little bit weird, like they maybe didn't use enough paint. Some people might argue, no, it's supposed to be a 5 o'clock shadow, but I've never seen a Hal Jordan with a 5 o'clock shadow. It looks like they just didn't use enough paint. But now we should look at the articulation. And what does he have, you might ask? Well, I think you can pretty much see all of his articulation points for the most part. I mean, he's got the ab crunch that we all know and love or hate. He's got the tornado waist. Up in the armpits, he's got that hinge. Ooh, yeah, lots of black paint has been flecking out from in there. Okay, well, that kind of sucks. The bicep, it swivels. The elbows, they crunch doubly. The fists, they rotate, and they're on a hinge. The ball peggy head looks down, looks up, looks all around. And don't even get me started on Hal's groin. It does this, not much of this, because he bones get in the way. And they can go way out, just like that. Oh, but wait, there's more. He's also got rotation right here. You can hear it grinding away. Dem knees, crunchy knees. Dem boots, dem swivelly boots. The ankles got themselves a hinge right there, and a pivot, of course, just like Superman and Batman, and the toes can point up like that. He could be like, poof, oh no, I stubbed my toe and it really, really hurt. Very posable indeed, and super glad that I got this guy to put in my action figure photography, which I don't really do that much anymore. I will point this out, and that is exactly how much crispy stuff came out of his joints when I was doing all that articulation stuff. Still though, best Hal ever. I mean, best John ever. Oh, also, if this John Stewart head sculpt just doesn't tickle your fancy, and you happen to have the Mezco 1/12 collective, well, I'll have you know that the Mezco head sculpts are completely size comparable. You can complete that there bald John Stewart head look that some people like so much, or you can put on the head sculpt that has hair. The hairy head sculpt. Hairy John. Or you could make a three-headed monster. Hello, I'm John the Three-Headed Monster Green Lantern. Either way, all I'm saying is if you got the Mezco 1/12 Collective Green Lantern, then you got options. And also, this really does further go to prove my point that the Mezco 1/12 Collective figures really are just a little bit stubby for the size of their head. Little body, big body. Little body, big body. Also, for those of you who want a more neutral-faced Hal Jordan, guess what? The Hal Jordan head from the DC Direct Classic Icons actually fits just nicely once you Dremel out the head and then make the hole a little bit deeper. Bob's your uncle, Susan's your aunt, and it fits right on there nicely. But enough about that. Now it's time for comparisons. Bow down 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 down. Bow down 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 down. Wow 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 down down. Wow wow. Oh, frig. Still one of the greatest Green Lantern figures of all time. And I think we've looked at pretty much everything to do with Hal Jordan, so let's look at the Predator. Now, as for the Predator side of things, I mean, off the bat, we can see that he comes with a sword, a spear, 2 extra hands, a weird gladius, or I'm not really sure what that thing is, and an extra head that doesn't have the mask on it. But not being someone who collects NECA's Predator and horror offerings, only being someone who's seen the movies in the past, I'll start by saying that the quality of this Predator figure, as always with NECA's horror offerings, is really, really top-notch. Let's have a closer look at the accessories. Here's a closer look at his sword. I tend to think this looks like a katana, and you can tell that this is actually a Yellow Lantern construct. Just the same as his gladius. Again, I really don't know what this is called, but again, it's another construct. And also the same as his spear. Another Yellow Lantern energy construct. Also, the shoulder-mounted cannon is an energy construct that looks really nice, as well as the scabbard for the sword. It just fits in there nicely, just like that. Be careful though, because it can fall out. As for the 2 extra hands, I'm betting they're nothing that special. They're pretty much probably par for the course. Except for the one hand actually has a Yellow Lantern power ring on it, and it's sculpted really nice for what it is. I think they did a good job of that. And of course we have the secondary unmasked head that he comes with, and NECA really excels at the sculpt and the deco of these horror-based figures. The dreadlocks hanging off the back of his head, at least that's what I like to think of them as, they're made out of a soft rubber, and they've also been painted as well. They didn't just leave them one color, but they've actually added paint deco. So yeah, NECA does a fantastic job on their Predator figures. Speaking of which, let's take a closer look at the figure now that we've looked at absolutely everything else. Toe to head, although I'm not entirely sure, I'm betting that this is a reused sculpt of a pre-existing Predator action figure, only repainted black and yellow to make it look like someone from the Sinestro Corps. The yellow paint with the black underneath is a nice touch, and man, I'm always impressed by the detail of these figures. I'm betting aside from the paint deco and sculpting certain parts in like a yellow translucent plastic, is the fact that they sculpted this here Yellow Lantern symbol and then just stuck it on his chest on the armor here. But really, who cares? Even if they really did only just sculpt a few new pieces, like the ring on this hand here, that obviously is going to be a new sculpted piece. He's still an absolutely fantastic looking figure. I really honestly don't know what I'm looking at though. Like, what is that? What is that? The helmet sculpt on this one is really cool. I'm not really sure what Predator this is supposed to be, but darn it, does he ever look cool. Every nook and cranny has been detailed and filled with paint and looks absolutely fantastic. And maybe I'm missing a piece, but he definitely looks like he's got a holster on his leg that was for something, a gun or something. Again, I don't know because I don't collect the Predator figures, and I don't recall there being anything else in the box to go in there. I mean, it's evidently not for the sword, it's definitely not for the spear, and absolutely not for the gladius. So what's it for? I don't know. As a side note, I gotta tell you, having that shoulder-mounted cannon actually come on the figure in the package was something I really liked, because with this one here, with the previous Predator figure that I reviewed, getting that shoulder-mounted cannon to actually slot and fit right on his shoulder was a pain in the butt. Oh, by the way, these guys are actually not the same figure at all. Like, really not at all. It's clear to see that these are actually different Predator figures altogether. And really, every single detail of this figure looks really cool. Again, if I was gonna start collecting horror figures, I could so fall face first into this pit of collecting, because these guys are fantastic. Now let's look at the articulation. Head's on a ball joint, as you would expect, because it needs to be to put on that second interchangeable head. Rounded ball joint armpit hinges, double jointed elbows, rotation at the top of the gauntlet, bicep rotation, rotating hinge wrists that go around and back and forth, ball jointed torso, also articulation here at the waist, typical NECA ball hinged groin with rotation here. And certainly the design features and the armor gets in the way very little. It's actually really not restricted at all as far as those legs go. And also the shoulders, might I add, are pretty good just because the armor is only stuck to his arm like that, so it moves out of the way really easy. Double jointed crunchy knees, and also ankles that are on rounded ball joints that, you know, they're okay. The articulation's pretty good. I feel like his feet could have probably used some form of hinge halfway down. But overall, not a bad batch of articulation, actually. Right, so, final thoughts on these guys. What do I think? Well, You know, as a DC fan, of course I had to pick this up. It's got probably the best Hal Jordan figure I think that's ever been made. You may have a different opinion, but when I look at the sculpt and the paint apps and the attention to detail overall, I really think that bang for buck, this is probably the best Hal Jordan figure out there. Or John Stewart, again, depending on which Green Lantern you like better. And as for the Predator figure, well, I'll probably actually keep him. I've got a habit of giving my horror figures that come in these 2 packs to my oldest boy because he likes them, but I really want to keep this Predator Fear figure because the Sinestro Corp Predator can go right with the rest of my Yellow Lanterns. Although, as previously mentioned, it is sort of strange that we have a Green Lantern Fear Predator 2-pack when there wasn't actually a miniseries based on it. It was Green Lantern versus Aliens. But hey, I'll take it. But anyway, that's my story and I'm sticking to it. Thank you so much for tuning in today, clicking on this video and watching it. It means a lot to me. It really helps my channel grow. If you liked the video, please give it a thumbs up. Any comments, pop them down in the comment section below. And if you like what you saw here today and you think you want to see more, then I invite you today on behalf of myself and the rest of the Super Friends to join the DC squad simply by hitting the subscribe button. And then if you'd like to, you can ding the bell so that you get notified of when I put out new videos, because YouTube doesn't really tell people when new ones come out necessarily. They pick and choose. The algorithm's a funny thing. Anyway guys, that's it. Thank you so much for watching, like I said, and I will see you in the next one. Have a DC day, everybody, and take care. Do something good for someone today too while you're at it. Bye for now.